Yo, what's up, family? Before we start the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and share to any and everyone that you can. Just get out there a little bit more. With that being said, let's get right to the video. We got a great national championship game last night, and both coaches put together a lot of good sets / actions and a hard fought effort, and I wanted to take a look. So let's get into the film. All right, how y'all doing? I hope y'all doing good. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, make sure you take your shoes off before you come in the house. And I know this is Nick NBA channel, but we got some Nick CBB action here. I just love the game of basketball, and of course, when you get a great game like we have with Florida barely pulling out the national championship, and you see the sets and the actions that these teams runs and the intricacies of those actions, it was just really good to see some good basketball being played, especially on both sides of the floor. So here we're going to start with two different types of pick and rolls from both teams. So here we got Houston. They run an empty corner angle pick and roll. The significance of having an empty corner is that it makes it harder to help on the roll. So if there was a Houston player here, there will be an easy tag man. So this eliminates the tag man help. They just run a simple angle pick and roll right here, empty corner. You see Clay, and he knows that this role is going to be open just by the angle of this pick and roll. He's a point guard that makes a lot of decisive decisions in these pick and rolls, so he kind of sees it happening, but he's pointing. He's not actually talking to Condon and telling him to get over there. And of course, you got a dynamic handler like LJ Cryer. The big is going to step up a little bit just to make sure he doesn't get off a shot. Makes a nice pocket pass to Tugler. So now we go down to the Florida side, and there, of course, is a little bit different. Their pick and roll is an empty corner. You got Richard in the corner with Martin. Both corners are filled, and here comes the screen. And Houston did a phenomenal job all game, making sure that Walter Clayton saw two bodies on the pick and roll. Now that means that somebody else is open, but with the aggressive nature of the Houston defense and how they showed a lot on these pick and rolls, it led Florida to kind of getting Walter Clayton off the ball more, which I love. They ran some stagger twirl action. They ran some floppy action for him to just not have the ball in his hands and to see two the whole time. But that does mean that somebody is open, as you see on this roll here. But now this is the tag man that we were talking about that Houston didn't have to deal with on that empty corner pick and roll. And this was a slight shake action, but this play was really made by the eyes of Walter Clayton. But shake action is used to put this tag man in limbo. So in a 2-on-1 situation where you have a roller roll into the basket and you have somebody in the corner right here, this tag man has to choose. So in the shake action, the roller will roll and the person in his corner will come up. So this tag man will either have to come up to guard the three, or he have to go back and guard the roll. Either way, he won't be able to do both. So you see that roll, but you see the eyes of Walter Clayton, right? You see him use the ball. He's looking at the corner the entire time, which moves LJ Cryer to the corner. And then he does a nice job with the no-look pass to the middle of the floor in the dunk. All right, so here Houston starts this play with a little bit of weave action. It's named after the three-man weave. And you see it's just three people just passing the ball up to the top of the key. Then we're going to have a veer screen by Francis, who's really athletic, and he showed up in this game well for Houston. So what he's going to do is a veer screen is when you walk up to the handler like you're going to set an on-ball screen, and you quickly get out and set an off-ball screen. So you see how he walks up to the handler, and then he goes and set an off-ball screen for Cryer. And then this is also empty corner too. So again, they eliminate the tag man that's important for what's about to happen next. So he sets that off-ball screen for Cryer. He gets the ball, does a nice job. The big has to come over to Cryer, and now there's no tag man, right? It's just Francis with a full head of steam against Florida defender, and he jams on him. All right, so this was a really big set for Florida in this game. That horns action, they can do so much out of it. They can run stagger twirl out of this horns action. They can run zoom action or Chicago action, which they do here. It's a really good play to beat man coverage. It's sort of like in football when a team is playing majority man, you can run drag routes, you run pick plays. And that's kind of what Florida was doing with this horns action here. So we got Clayton on this brush screen right there. He curl cuts that. Then we got the Chicago action here. Zoom and Chicago are the same thing. It's a handoff in which the handoff receiver receives a pin down to go get a dribble handoff. So it's a handoff in which somebody receives a pin down to go get a dribble handoff. So you see the pin down right here, and Martin is going to come off and try to receive this dribble handoff. But instead, the big keeps it, and he's going to curl all the way to the basket, and he gets a layup. But the thing about this is that this pin down has to be somewhat effective. You see how he just clips LJ Cryer just a little bit, and that's all the room that Martin needs to get ahead. All right, so in this game, it was really imperative that Florida push the ball in transition or even in semi-transition, because just going up against that set Houston defense just mucks the game up a lot. So when there were opportunities after missed baskets by Houston, Florida did a nice job pushing the pace, and that's where they got a lot of their easy buckets from. All right, so in this play, Florida just goes to some Spain PNR. Spain PNR is a pick and roll in which a back screen is set on a ball screener's man, and then that back screener comes out to the three-point line, hopefully to get an open shot. So you'll have the ball screen here by the big, and you'll have the back screen here by the shooter. And then this guy should have an easy roll, and it just puts this defender in limbo because as he's getting back screen, he's either going to try to fight to get back there, and this guy's going to be trying to help him because he sees that he just got screened, which will leave this man open to come out for this three. But what Florida does on this play, they just get out of it really quickly. They don't even set the back screen. The shooter just comes up to the top of the key. And of course, again, they're showing 2 to Walter Clayton, which means that there's a numerical advantage somewhere. So you see that there's a 2-on-1, and Clayton, again, just like he did on the last play, does a nice job of using his eyes to misdirect the defense. So you see Hugh is wide open, right? Clayton's going to look at him and force Francis to take 1 step out to the key, right? That's all he needs to get the pass into the big. A nice tap out by the big for the corner 3. And in this game, I was really impressed by the out-of-time plays by both coaches, whether that was the sideline out-of-bounds plays, baseline, or them walking the ball up the court. But these coaches really had some good out-of-time plays. So here we have my favorite off-ball screen of all time. It's the elevator screen, and it sounds just like it is in real life. So when you push an elevator in real life, the door is open, you get in it. When you get in the elevator, it closes. So LJ Cryer is going to press the button to the elevator, right? He's going to get on the elevator, and then they're going to close. This closes here, and this closes here. Now, there's not really somebody there to guard him. So they don't really have to close it that far because nobody's really chasing LJ Cryer. But what that does is it forces the big to get out on LJ Cryer. Now there's a switch, and he just takes advantage of the switch with a nice cross step back 3. All right, so again, Florida after the missed basket, doing a nice job in semi-transition, getting easy offense against an unset Houston defense. So 2 things here. Really good recognition here by Condon. He knows that every pick and roll that they've been running, Houston's going to send 2 or show 2 to Clayton. So what he does is he's not going to actually set the screen. He's going to slip right to the basket. Beautiful recognition by Condon, doing the right thing there. And then we got sort of a Gortat screen there by the other big, making sure Condon doesn't get blocked. All right, we got some more blob action by Houston. Blob is just an acronym for baselines out of bounds. Slide would be sidelines out of bounds, SLOB. So some more blob action here. And I like, so Sharpe is going to run right to Cryer's defender, which is Richard. And that's going to cause some confusion right here. The Gators, again, just finger point switching, not actually telling people where to go or like having a set plan for this. They finger point switch, and you see this sort of exit screen here by Tugler to get LJ Cryer wide open for the 3. All right, so again, Florida going back to that horns action that they got an easy layup off. Again, horns alignment, anytime you see 2 guys on the elbow to the free throw line or free throw line extended, but just 2 guys right beside each other in this manner, that is going to be horns. So again, they got an easy layup off this in the first half. So what they're going to do here, he's going to keep it, and that's all they need. That little brush right there. Bang. That's all Clayton needs to get open. Aberdeen is in the corner. He's going to rush up here. So LJ Cryer has to, again, make a decision whether to follow him or to go to Clayton. And you see how Cryer has a little indecision, right? He steps to Clayton for 1, and then that just makes him late, and Clayton gets in that 1. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They go right back to the horn set, and Clayton's going to fake like he's going to do the same play that he did the last time. Fakes it, goes to the other side. Nice screen there by Condon, knocks his defender down, which causes Uzan to be in limbo. Now he's guarding 2 people. They have a numerical advantage. He goes to Clayton. Aberdeen has a nice drive to the rim and a nice finish. And this is one of my favorite plays to break down. This is my favorite play ran in this game, and it's called stagger twirl. So stagger is named after a type of screen. So stagger screens are 2 of the same off-ball screens set with just a little bit of space in between them. So you're going to see, you see Clayton and Condon, they're facing the exact same way. They're going to set 2 of the same screens, and you see that there's just a little bit of space in between them. Now we're going to go to the twirl part. So you see we have these 2 screens, right? And it's just a little misdirection here. You got Richard here acting like he's going to come off of these 2 screens, but what he's going to do is he's actually going to twirl this, and he's going to become the first stagger screen, and then Condon is still going to do his same job. So they set it up like it's for Richard. Richard twirls that, and he becomes the first stagger screen for Clayton. Nice job getting Clayton off the ball, and he hits his first 3. All right, I know this didn't end well, but this was a beautiful play call by Houston. The time was just a little bit off, and unfortunately, it cost them a championship. But this was a beautiful play call. So they get the ball into the hash mark. We remember Francis setting the veer screen in the first half. He's going to act like he's going to set a step-up screen. He's going to veer off, and you see we got stagger screens for LJ Cryer right here. You know, same screen, off-ball screen with just a little bit of space in between. He's going to come and get the ball right there. And then as Cryer comes and gets the ball, it's all misdirection. It's all misdirection for Sharpe to come off. If this ball is let go right here, Sharp is shooting the basketball. If Cryer can get the ball to him right here, you see the pin down by Roberts. This was probably an elevator, but France was just a little bit behind. But this was probably going to be 2 screens here, and he's wide open. And he's still open either with just 1 screen because Clayton is not even expecting this to happen right now. He's still in the paint. If this pass is let go right now, this is an open shot. Listen, Clayton didn't have a great offensive game, but he played his ass off defensively. And this was not the first great 3-point contest that he had. He had multiple in this game. And this is still enough space to get a shot off. But what I'm saying is, if this pass is let go right now, Clayton has no idea what's happening. Now, he knows now that this is happening, and the ball is still slightly out of Cryer's hands, right? But Clayton just does a phenomenal job selling out. Now, Sharp could have just pump faked, right? But with this amount of space, you don't think that Clayton is about to get up in your airspace. But he could have just pump faked and he would have had a wide open shot. But the timing was a little bit off from this pass from Cryer because of the defense here by Richard. He has his hands up, active hands, and he forces Cryer to have to move over and out to pass this ball instead of just it being an easy pass. Because if he would have passed it right there, that would have been an open shot. But an amazing sellout by Clayton. Should have been a pump fake. Now he can't touch the ball, and that's a championship. But that is a video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe, and share it in everyone that you can. Just get out there a little bit more, and I will see you guys in the next video. This is Nick. Peace.